What's up, everyone? I'm going to go ahead and show you another really big staple of our programming at MTS, and another big thing that's going to be in M101, the Mobility 101 foundational program at marcotrainingsystems.com. So that is going to be a split squat. There's a lot of different ways to do split squats. The first one we're going to show you is just going to be rear foot elevated. It's going to demand a lot of stability from that single leg, and we're really, with a little bit of focus, going to get a ton of extra mobility work within our strength training, which is the number one reason why we're really programming so much for our athletes. So when we're doing this, we want to be very, very particular about our pelvic positioning. What I like to do is have everybody posterior tilt, especially if you're an athlete stuck in anterior tilt. So I like to really make sure that they emphasize that. From there, what we can do is once they have all of this stuff in a good position, or even over kind of tucked even too much, then I can work on extending here. And oftentimes, everybody's in an individual circumstance, but what will happen is you'll end up in a really good spinal positioning from getting that locked in and then lifting the chest up. If we're just here and we think about lifting our chest first, then a lot of us will find ourselves in that same poor positioning down low, which is not what we want. So let's make sure that we tuck under, then lift the chest up. Goal is to stay long. I'm gonna show you guys with my right foot in the front and my left foot in the back. With the back leg, I should actually feel a pretty good stretch through the front of the hip, whether it's quad, hip flexor. It's gonna be a little bit different on everyone, but I can work the eccentric portion on there and slowly lower myself into it. And when I do that, I'll be actually working on the mobility of the back hip and the strength on the front hip. Beautiful thing. Now, when we talk about training internal rotation of the hip, sometimes we often will even have you go into a knee valgus. That's not what we're looking for on this one. So for the front knee, I want my knee to track directly over my second toe. And what I really am looking to have happen is that stable tripod for the foot and really a good tracking of the knee as I sit back into my hip. A couple of different loading options, a million different loading options. I could grab the med ball just like you'll see in my single leg deadlift video. I could grab this, I could goblet it, I could front squat it, I could do it a million different ways, our front racket. And then also there's something to consider that if I load it on the outside, then the inside's gonna have to work to stabilize a little bit more to keep me from falling outward. If I load it on the inside, then the outside of my hip's gonna have to work. If I wanna really make this heavy, I grab 2 kettlebells. Okay, so there's a lot of different options within that. So I'm gonna start off here. Everybody's gonna be in a little bit of a different spot when they actually get into it. For the back foot, you can either be dorsiflexed or plantar flex. Either one is okay. I'd go whichever one's gonna be more successful for you. And then if it's a weakness of yours, try to safely get towards working on the other one. So again, same thing. Tuck under, lift chest up. Now I feel that nice stretch in the front. I'm gonna slowly bend my knee and I'm gonna sink back into it. This is where it gets a little bit different for people. So as I'm here, I'm allowed to have my chest come forward and drive through it. Some people are gonna be a little bit too much of chest all the way up, again, as I illustrated earlier, and they're gonna lose that portion. So I can show you guys from the other side. So I'm here. I wanna really make sure I tuck under again, feel the front of the hip. And as I sit back into it, I'm really loading this hip, driving into it. It's okay if I'm up tall and I'm not leaning forward as long as we're not getting that arch in the lower back. So I like to really focus on the eccentric portion as I've emphasized, 5 seconds on the way down, then come back up. It's a really good idea to condition that bottom position. You can do that with isometrics, 5-second holds, 3-second holds, 1-second holds. The options are endless. So there's our split squat, rear foot elevated. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave anything below and we'll get back to you. Enjoy the rest of your day.